I was going to tell you a little story, but since because I can't hear your reaction, I won't do it. But what we're going to do today, I want you to get a piece of paper for note-taking, and I want you to write down the word premo, P-R-E-M-O. And right under that, or above it, I want you to write extreme, E-X-T-R-E-M-E. So a primo is at one of the extreme ends of price. It's far away from home base. At least 3 tiger tunnels, 3 to 4 tiger tunnels. So, okay. Okay, so, and right on top of that, right up a little higher, I want you to write the word danger in capital letters, danger. So what I'm going to teach you today is going to make you a lot of money. It's tantamount, but not the same as scalping. Scalping is a whole different story. This is called a primo for a reason. I think you guys can probably figure it out. If you're looking at the chart, you'll see what I did. I entered a mow here this morning earlier, and I exited right there, triple X. I re-entered, I did a remow right here, and I had a couple of scale ends, as you can see here, and I XXX right there. Now, what I did, when price ducked under the Bollinger Bands, and then it ducked under the non-lag moving average, I entered a counter trade or a primo. The reason I call it a primo because it comes before the actual mow line. It is not a mow, and if price even crosses the 21 moving average right there, it's called a no mow because it's not a mow, because it's going the opposite direction of the way the prices are up. So we call that a no mow, although it is a trade. And normally with a primo, you enter here and you exit at the first sign of trouble, which would be, in this case, right there. But in this case, since the non-lag moving average never changed colors, I stayed in the trade. Actually, when it started going up here, it got me about back even again. I was about to get out because it looked to me like price was going to continue on its path from the Tiger Tunnel up here, which was the 4th tunnel away. I started to do a primo right there, but I decided I wouldn't because I just didn't like the angle and all the stuff that was going on down here. But let me back up just a hair before we really get into this and I show you some of these. I moved the SRO down with the Benini. Changed the color to fuchsia, whatever color you want to call that. So it would be down here. This is because this is still our AWACS early warning system. And up here I put 2 oboes. Now if oboes slow your computer down in any fashion, you can remove them, but these are very important to this type of thing. Now if you'll see where I added these 2 scale ends here, they were all up. They were all going up with the mow trade. That was really a nice trade. Unfortunately, let me squeeze this up here. Let me show you. This trade began way back there yesterday evening. Here in Tulsa, it started somewhere around 9 o'clock, and 8 or 9 o'clock. And I didn't even mess with it. I did mess with the first part of it, and I took a little out there and exited, and then I entered and exited there late last night, but it wasn't. I didn't decide to stay in it because it didn't look like it was going to go anywhere. Now that personal judgment probably cost me a lot of pips here. I'm sure Eusebio got in on this because the English, or the British session would have started about somewhere around here this morning, and I'm sure Eusebio probably got a big hunk of that. But I missed it because I went to bed. I was tired, but I made up for it this morning with a couple of really, really nice trades this morning. So, but you never know, and sure enough, as you make a judgment call on something on there, Mother Nature will prove you wrong, and that's the whole purpose of that little exercise there and going back. Okay. Eusebio, did you get some of that nice big trend this morning on the pound yen? A guppy? Hello. Okay, I want to tell you about grading homework. Wayne and Eusebio do a bang-up job. They are grading things a little tighter than I do. My job is to make sure you get it. And as long as you're on the right track, I'm not really critical unless you just do something stupid or just aren't paying attention and you're not following instructions. So they grade the little scale ends and those things a little tighter than I do, but we're all after the same thing. And I'm glad they grade those good because I can depend on them to tell you what you need to hear. And sometimes I get in a hurry in grading the charts, and if it looks okay, I may leave out a little insignificant detail. But remember, we're dealing with an overall concept. As I told somebody the other day, don't worry about whether the thing is offset 3 or offset 1. Over a period of time, it's not going to make one whit of difference to the thing, although we do like to have them standard numbers. You guys are going to change them anyway once you get out of here. But what we do every day, these charts all look the same, and I can put them up there unless you want to dig into the technical details. Most of them, they will still look the same. Look what happened here. I'm talking around here, and I'm going to exit this thing right now because that was the sign of danger. Now that little primo right there made me. I just exited. Made me 30 pips, 38 pips twice. So there's not a blasted thing wrong with that. I want to check something else here. Let me do something. Man, that is a bunch of pips. Right. This is on a chart with 5 digits, actually, so it's slightly different. Now let's go back here. I could have taken this one here, even though it wasn't 3. It was 3 tunnels away. Extreme. That it's got to be at least 3 to be what we call extreme. 1, 2, 3. And it would have made some pips had I been doing it, but I didn't do it for some reason. And so anyway, the first sign of danger would have been right there, and it would have been worth 33 pips. Actually, the entry would have been, the entry would have been right under here when that bar went down there, and it would have made somewhere around 14 to 20 pips twice. Depends on where you stay. Since that was red all the way, it actually would have made, stayed it down until it got here, it would have made about 49 pips twice. Okay, so there starts what we call the primo. Now let's go back to back. A primo is a method, because of the tiger tunnels, you can tell when price is about to reverse based on the distance of the tunnels away from home base. Easy. That's the value of those tiger tunnels, because you always know where you are, even if you're upside down in an airplane. You have a controller to tell you that you're upside down, and you need to write it. So that's the same thing that the tiger tunnels tell us. Now let's go back to the end of the chart where the non-lag moving average kicks in here, and let's find some situations that are primos. These are strictly. Now you notice the Vanini is not in there right now, so it will show up sooner or later. But your obos are in there, and these are all very good for the primos. Now, what you do once price, and let's put it over here to the right-hand side of the chart, you see that price has come through the Bollinger Band there. So you're going to exit this mode that you would have been in there, assuming that you were in it. You're going to exit right there. And so when price goes one more bar and goes under the tiger tunnels there, I mean the non-lag moving average, you see that bar, you wouldn't do your short trade primo here until you could look at another bar. Now, you got a doji there, so it's telling you, well, maybe we should enter this. So let's look at one more bar. Now, you still got a doji light bar, but it's still going up, so we don't like that. So let's do another bar. Now we got a red bar. We're okay, but it's still above the non-lag moving average. So now we're going to enter this trade right here. We're going to enter short right there at that on that red bar there. You see, if I drop a vertical line there at that highest point on that, this has got to cross here, and this is already down there. So you have your M here, which telling you it's going to go down right there, and it went down there. So now let's take another look at the bar. Okay, now we got a blue bar. I'd hate for the first one I show you to be a loser. Huh? Okay, now, but look what happened there. Okay, now the rule is, I want you to write this down. You exit a primo at the first sign of danger. That's the Frady Cat exit. This is not designed to make you anything but anywhere from 20 to 50 pips, and you can do it all day long on 4 pairs that you would monitor. Remind me, somebody, to tell you what I discovered today or found out today. I joined that club. We've been getting a lot of email, and since I'm not getting any feedback today, you guys are going to have to feed me information by text. I joined that club, the Super Surefire Trading Club, that everybody's been advertising, the 6 winners of the trading contest. Here recently, have you guys been getting a lot of mail on it? Well, I have. I've been getting 10 to 12 emails a day telling how great it's going to be and this, that, and the other. So I plunked off $47 today and joined their little club. So don't you guys join it yet. I'll look in the club and see if there's anything in there useful for us. So it'll save you $47 because there's no refunds on it. If it's a good club, I'm going to stay in and I'll recommend it to you. And if it's not a good club or doesn't have enough information on there for $47 a month, I'll tell you that also. But what I did discover and what I wanted to tell you is that the 6 winners of the 2 different trading contests, the top 3 in each one of them, they don't have a thing that the max doesn't have. They use it. Some of them were using pivot points. One of them was using moving averages. Some of them were using Bollinger Bands. Some of them were using the regular RSI. One of them used the MACD. So these guys were winning. This one guy did 2,380% profit in 1 month. He took a $3,000, and this had to be live training, took a $3,000 live account to $69,000 in 1 month. And if you saw his system, believe me, it's a miracle. It does nothing that the Max does. It doesn't have any of the tells or the early warning system that the Max does. And I'm not trying to take anything away from this guy because he understands his method. But it's really it's really too complicated. He's an engineer type. But anyway, we'll go more about that later. But here's what. Yes, you to answer your question, you enter 2 lots. You can exit 1 lot at the first sign of danger and stay in with 1 lot. But here we are, right here. Down. You notice that it went right down to the next tiger tunnel. So I'm going to do an F12 here. Let me do an F12. Son of a gun. Oh, tell me we got a bicycle. Okay, F12. Now this one went back up. So depending on where you are, right here, you've got your stop would be right above the highest point. Right. Your stop would be right there. But you're probably not going to wait for that stop. If the next bar is blue, I may decide to go ahead and get out because what we're looking for here, even if that bar was red, the bottom of that bar shows that would have been about 40, how many pips was that? It was 50 pips right to the bottom of that blue bar. Now that would be the first sign of danger when that bar turned blue. Of course, the whole bar is there from the angle that we're looking at, but you would have exited that trade of Frady Cat the minute that bar turned blue or looked like it was going to go up a little bit. Exit there, and you made 50 pips. Relatively little risk here by waiting until that price comes under that line. Okay, let's see what. And see, it went on back up, and it may, now looks like it's going to go back down. Okay, now here's the nice part. If the next bar is red, you could enter at the top of that red bar there, right there, enter at that bar, because it's already showing the whole bar, so I can't do anything about that. And then the next bar going down, and as long as the non-lag moving average stays red, can stay in the trade. Now there's a sign of danger right there. So let's watch what happens to the non-lag moving average. Now price crosses above that moving average, you will exit the trade. Now see, if the non-lag moving average turns green, you're going to exit immediately. You'll still have some nice profit in there. Another down signal, another medium bar, another red bar, another blue bar. Now here I would be getting ready to get out. See it turn green there? So your exit in this trade would be right there. Now let's go back a little way and see what happened. I'm going to clear that up. Not a very good deal. Okay, right there. So you still made a few pips. Oops, wrong thing. Your entry there, and you would have gotten out there, you'd have still made about 10 pips twice. So there's 40 pips, and there would have been about 14 pips twice. Or 10 pips twice. So you made 40 pips with very little risk. My doggy is whining at me wanting to go outside. Hold on. You guys hear me okay through my microphone? We'll have to use the speakers. Somebody say something. How's the sound now? How's my sound? You not hear me? Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Now can you hear me? Okay? How about that? Craig? Okay, you're okay. This is amazing. I can't hear anybody, but they can hear me. That's wonderful. Okay. All right, now let's go on a little ways further here. Now remember, this is an extreme situation that we're looking for. Now, you see that support line right there? Excuse me. You see that? Bollinger Band? You think that's worth a shot at it because it's coming off of the Bollinger Band. It's hit that area of support. So you would enter right there. Of course, you can see, no, I'm sorry, you would enter under the, you would wait until it crosses under the green line there, the non-lag moving average there. Not necessarily there, but your entry would have been somewhere on this red doji-like bar. Now your stops, again, don't have to be real critical. So even if you lost money on the trade, if you entered there and got stopped out there, that's how many pips is that? That's 4 pips. No, it's 40 pips. I can't actually tell this. I don't like this new numbering system. I think this is something new that they updated when I updated my. How many pips is that? That's 16. Okay. You would lose 44 pips twice. But when it comes down under there, and as long as this is red, right there, you stay with that all the way down to here, and you made 146 pips twice. As long as the non-lag moving average stays red, you stay with the trade when it's coming off of the Bollinger Band crabgrass here or here. And between those three trades, you would have lost 88 pips on that one, 44 pips twice. You make it back with 146 pips twice on the re-entry there, the re-primo. But this is a no-mo right here, but it still adds strength to your trade because price is going down, going underneath the 21 moving average. Now this would be a Kathy Lean entry because she does not consider home base with her entry. But if you look and draw your vertical line right there on that red line, you see you've got a cross here, you've had a signal there, a little divergence right there, plus you had your M on here. So even if there's nothing going on the chart and there's not any mows nearby or anything, this will keep you in gold chips, I promise you. Eusebio, have you been using the Primo very much in your trading? Yes, Jan, I will enter it when price goes under the green line. You don't have to wait till it turns red. The safe way, of course, is to wait till it turns red. But oftentimes, if you wait until that turns red, you're going to give up 40 or 50 pips. And the whole purpose of the Primo is the surprise. In other words, you're surprising price with your early entry there because nobody is entering there. So it's real easy to catch that and then move it, but because by the time anybody knows that there's even a trade there, you're out of it right there, 49 pips. So if you wait till that turns red, you're going to give up a whole lot of pips, and probably the Primo would not be a good situation to consider in your trading. Greg, generally no, unless it turns into a mo. Okay, now I'm not going to talk about re-entries with the mo because when it goes here and it goes under that ledge and you're in the trade and this is red, you've got a perfect trading situation that's going to take you to home base in most cases. If you get one like this where you've gotten in up here, this is not the place to enter a trade because you missed out on the stuff up here and the pips up there. You missed out on the first 25 pips of the trade, and that 25 pips can be critical to your overall profit in these things because a lot of them are going to do this, turn right around and go back. And so you have to do do a Frady Cat exit here. It's like an MX. What's this thing? What this? Okay. Okay, so you haven't been using it very much, Eusebio. Okay. Anybody else that has been using it at all? Eusebio, the situation I use it for is the one you've shown 90% success rate. Right. And you will have 90% success rate with this if you follow just the basic rules. See, prices hit a support level here. The first support level hit right there on the tiger tunnel, and it carried right across. So let's go a few. Damn it, what is wrong? Let's just go on across here. And it goes up as well as comes down. It gives you a double-edged sword here in working. But now see, you're into a bunch of garbage here where there's nothing going to go on. So what we'd be looking for here was a mo. And with this right there, that wouldn't be a good situation. But it could very well, if it's going along this and it doesn't touch that third tiger tunnel, don't pre-mow it. Just don't do it. First of all, you have to give up too many pips in a situation like this. By the time it goes, you wouldn't be entering till down where the second tiger tunnel was, and so you've severely limited your potential profit on the thing. So you go back here to where you find a mo, then you would have your mo entry here, right in there. But let's go back up here, look at the pre-mo. Now, you've gone right up here and you exited your trade right there, didn't you? Because we're smart. We know where to exit now. Now, when price drops under that, right there, you got an absolutely perfect pre-mo. Now look what happens in this case. This little sucker takes you all the way. And if you get a little, you didn't have any danger until you got right there under the red balance line, and almost it just touched, balanced the home base area, and it went sideways. So there's the first real place of danger. You could very well have exited that trade, and that primo would have made you, oh God, I hate to even tell you, 95 pips twice with no danger. See, the thing about these, since they're going to come off of that high point up there, there's relatively little danger. This is the true way, I figured out, to trade reversals. Not scalp. I don't want to scalp. A scalp is a guy that's going to take 5 points out of the middle here or something. So this is a primo. Now, if you choose, and I'm not suggesting this because I rarely do it, but once price comes off of that ledge and it's under the non-lag moving average is still red now, you've got a perfect entry there to carry this little sucker all the way to the bottom. To the first place would be right there, would be your exit. That's 119 pips twice. That's how you get the early entry, is if you've profited from here, it doesn't matter if you gamble a wee bit here, see? But you got money in your pocket on this trade. You don't start out with a bad situation. Now, when it comes to the bottom, look here. Okay, you're at the bottom here. You would have probably done an XXX right there if you're smart, because it started on you. Everything's down at the bottom, so it looks like that perfect place to exit that we're talking about. Everything at the bottom, and this is coming up. Then you follow this, and it goes back over here, and it touches this and touches the Bollinger Bands again. So there is a sign of a primo. 1, 2, 3. You enter right there. When that bar, that blue bar, turns across, you can enter any time after that blue bar crosses the green line. Now drop your, if you want to drop it right on the red bar there, see where everything is. You got a nice cross here, you got a W there, you've got divergence here, you got everything in the world going for you. Now I'm going to repeat what I said last week and the week before. Kathy Lean says, and I believe her, that it's psychologically impossible to trade at the most precipitous moment, but I have proven that it can be done. But you're going to have to go against those instincts, because you can't really see this when it's going on. But when the Bollinger Band is going sideways like this, you can be real brave. It's when it's hanging that way out here that you don't know what's going on. Okay, but see this one, once that turned green, look, it rode it all the way up across home base. 148 pips. This is better than the MAC or the Mo's, than the real Mo's, unless you get, and you've also got your scale ins if you want to take them here. There, one. Once that goes back down there, it will come down and test that resistance level. You see that, what it did? You got that resistance level along there. Come down and test that. Your stop would be about right there. So it's you never even really had any danger, even though it came back down there. You got 150 pips, and so that little primo turned into a no-mo, into a no-mo, because of the crossing of the alignment of the three EMAs. It's a no-mo, but still it made 148 pips twice. And then you have your genuine mo right there, so you would handle that just like you handled anything else here. And this is only 2, so you're not going to do a primo here, even though it might have made you a few pips. You're not going to do one here because it's only 2 pips away. You don't get enough momentum or that rubber band effect that you get when price pulls itself way out there, out of its range. And look at this one. Even this one, you didn't get a mo. This would have been I would have hated to trade that mo, although you would have been okay right there with it. Barely. I mean, that's, the questionable entry that the BO mo gives you, where that breakout is. So, anyway, you get up here. Now you're 3 tiger tunnels away. Be brave. Got your primo entry there. First sign of danger is right there. And if you just exited one or both of them, you'd make 30 pips twice. And then it would go on over here, and it comes around here. You still didn't ever have any danger, but when your line turned green, that would be your mandatory exit there when that line turns green. And it was there. So even on the second one, you still made 10 or 15 pips. You'd have made about 8 pips. So the point is that these things are just loaded with gold shekels. Now look at this. You got your after mow right here, the easiest entry on the planet right there. After it's way out of home base, my goodness, you can't have a better. Now look what happens. You get up here, the third tiger tunnel away, and you got all of this garbage here. And with that coming back in there, and it goes back down, even it went under the non-lag moving average, but they were both blue bars. So you're not going to enter on that until you have. It's not really called a setup bar, but you're not going to enter until the bar is the color that you want the bar to be. So your first chance of entry would be probably right in there. It's red, and everything is red, and you also have your, look here, just drop a vertical line anywhere, cross. You're at the bottom. You got divergence in that area. Everything is with you, and this is red. So this one, without any danger at all, or just the few pips at risk there, takes you all the way to home base, or 181 pips, which actually was more pips than the mow, because the mow started up here. Now there's only a couple. There's 3 or 4 charts that you can play with. The pound yen and the pound dollar, and the euro dollar, and also if your less dangerous mows, of course, on the U.S. Canadian dollar, but the pound yen and the pound dollar are by far the best here. If you've got a decent spread. See, the spread on this old sucker is 12 right now. Here on this thing here, but you see on this. Now let me show you. Let's go back to this mow here. Oh no, I'm sorry. You see, on trading from the right-hand end of the chart, all of this stuff was this way, but on the early part of the chart, now it's all turned green again. So anyway, you had your mow here, you had your mow entries and all your mow information there. This got down here to the third tiger tunnel, but the angle is just not really good for a snapback deal. This is just too easy, and the primos like that aren't going to generate many pips, even if you entered there's blue and there's blue and so forth. So even if you wrote it out to watch and see if it was going to stay, and you entered right there, you're still not going to make much on these sideways type deal. Well, 35, 40 pips, but they're real safe trades. Although with all of this angle and stuff like this, that's what you've got to weigh when you get to a situation like this. Is that angle too strong for you to overcome? And maybe the fact that this is going more sideways than straight up, which would be better for the trade to see it. It's a visual effect, and the whole max concept is a visual thing. See, and of course, your mow would take you on down here to the bottom. Now, I'd rather trade a primo after an angle like that than a sideways angle like that. At least your entry right there, even though it's not going to look good to you on that side, it's still, even the first sign of danger is 50 pips away. Let me let my dog back in. Dadgum. Spoil rotten stuff. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, I'll tell you a story now. 3 or 4 years ago, about 3 years ago. There's a young lady that here in town that I was teaching the Forex, and she had traded some the Forex on demo only. She'd never traded any real money, and I taught her this primo technique, although it wasn't called the primo in those days. I hadn't defined exactly what it was, but it became, and she got real scared. She had read Kathy Lean's stuff and all the stuff, books and things that I had given her. And she was a good friend of a friend of mine. That's how I met her. My phone rang at 6:30 one morning. And I'm laying there, and they'll be calling me at 6:30 in the morning, you know. So I picked up the phone and she said, "Jim." I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I just wet my pants." I said, "What? You did what?" And she said, "I just made 50 pips on one of those trades." She got so excited she had wet her pants. And I said, "Well, did you tell Fred?" She said, "No, I haven't called him yet." But I'll never forget that as long as I live. I said, "And now don't ever call me at 6:30 in the morning. I don't care if you wet your pants or not." But every time I think about that, and every time I see her, we both smile. I mean, I don't see her very often. She's the lady friend of a friend of mine. Oh, golly. But that was funny. I just never had anybody call me at 6:30 in the morning and tell me they wet their britches. But she was so excited. She had never made 50 pips before. Oh, Lord. Anyway, you got your after mow coming down here, and then look at this. When you get this stuff here coming off that tiger tunnel like that, old Mother Nature is warning you that you either got to get out of your mow trade, but then she's also telling you that, hey, there's a good possibility that blue bar going right through there is a possibility. So you got 22 pips there. You can stay with it for a little bit. What you do is just watch. And even though your stop's a little bit away, if it gets past your break-even point, you might want to consider going ahead and getting out. But just let it breathe a bit, and see it goes right on up to the balance line for 63 pips twice, with hardly any risk, because you've already just made some money there. And these don't look like situations where you'd probably want to do it. They're far enough out, but they're inside that Bollinger Band, so I don't think that you'd want to consider that until the bands were expanded. I think, and that's one tip, you want to do this when the bands are extended to the outside. And look at this mow coming off of that. Would you look at that mow coming off of that those tiger tunnels right there? Just look at that. And you enter this mow about right there, and you take it all the way down to the first sign of danger. I mean, you know, your MX or XX right there, and you have a re-entry right there. It takes it all the way down to that's actually to the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you don't have many times that it'll go to the fifth bar. Even though this is in a strong downtrend, you drop your vertical line right there, or actually you drop it over to this one. Just drop it right to see where everything is. You don't have a cross there yet, but it's just before. But look at this divergence you got there on the SRO. Ah, shoot. Oh, Jim. And it's just come up from there, and it's going that way. So anyway, when it crosses that line, now look, it just goes sideways, gives you plenty of time to think about your entry right there. Everything is going your direction, and the separation there, this is going on up. And the first sign of danger is 94 pips away. The first sign of danger. And if you exit there, when it bounces off of that, that may be a place to totally exit. It comes back, and then price goes back through that, and it turns green again. With your non-lag moving average, you have another entry place there with a no-mo. And the reason that's a no-mo is because your mows go the other direction. With these things would have to be in reverse order for that to be a mow. It's a no-mo. But anyway, you would have an entry there if you want to risk 40 or 50 pips. your stop would have been right there at about 50 pips away. So it'd be 100 pips. Takes you all the way up to 181 pips. That's terrible. Can't make any more pips than that on a little pip squeak. Okay, then you have your mow, after mow coming off of there. As if you could just trade one or two contracts. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you about all these guys in the winter, only one of them that I remember traded 4 contracts. The rest of them traded the pound dollar and the pound yen or the euro yen. Oh, the euro yen would be another great for this because there's a lot of volatility there. But you really don't need to trade 4 or 6 contracts if you're going to be here at the computer and earn your living doing this. You can make a lot of pips in just a short period of time just on this mow here. I mean, the end of this mow to the bottom of that's a total of 6 hours, six and a half hours, and you can do that all at one time. and look at the power you've got coming off. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiger tunnels again. You got the power coming off of there. Just about as strong a snapback as you want. You don't have any danger until it hits that bounce there. That's 112 pips. And then it just, garbage. So you don't have to take all those great unnecessary risks when it goes through and guys, when it goes through here and bounces here. Now, this is a difficult mow. I would call this, for lack of a better word, it's not a breakthrough mow because it went to home base. Excuse me. It's not a breakout mow because it had the head fake here. So we might want to call this I just don't know a name for it, but it's got the attributes of a balance or a BT mow when it trades because you got this little head fake and snap back here. But still, your entry is still right there. Although hold on. Talking a lot. Start coughing. But anyway, you got 2 entries at this mow here. Let me take some drink of coffee. Hold on. I don't recall coughing all day today until I get on this microphone. Okay. And then so you've got your mows here, and they go right on up to the 4th tiger tunnel. Comes off of the tiger tunnel, drops under there. Just take a quick shot at it. And the first sign of danger, of course, is really all across here. So if you Frady catted the whole thing and got out immediately, it still made you 38 pips. If you waited for this one to come off of there, look how pretty this is. It built that nice ledge for you, and then price dropped right through there. It was hanging around the Bollinger Band there. Your entry would be right there as it dropped through there if you can catch it. And the first sign of danger is all the way down here, 116 pips away. And this will be our little secret. You don't have to tell your friends or people about the primos. See, they can't learn the max system unless they have you or me for a mentor to do this. You can't learn it from the charts. Okay, so there you had a mow, not a real good one, but look at that bounce that it gave you going back. That vertical fall like that is going to have a bounce, and it's going to come back. And look what you had coming back out of it. The first sign of danger was home base at 91 pips. Coming down, you didn't make near as much. On the actual mow itself, when it crossed that ledge, you made, you made 100 or so pips, about 100 pips. So, you see, there are other ways to skin this little monkey. Okay, so you come down, you had another mow, didn't go anywhere, but look what happened here. But you see, now you're getting to the point where you're almost too close to do this, although this would have been a heck of a one if you had the doji and all this stuff. So you know that you're going to get it, you're going to break even at the worst thing. If you lose on a trade like this, you're going to lose. If you enter that trade right there at the bottom of that bar, you're going to set your stop right there. You're going to lose 70 pips. If it wins and everything, and it goes your way, even if you got out right there, you're going to make 70 pips. So it's a 1-to-1 risk. But once that thing turns green there, and you follow this one, this is going to be the best trade of the day. Look at this. It turns into a nice mow with lots of scale in, and it takes you out, assuming you that would be an MX. This is going to take you all the way to the top, although your exit would be right there. Once this turns into a mow, you're home free with full sails, full speed ahead, and it doesn't stop until it bounces off of that tiger tunnel there. And by you guys doing your scrolls, and by the way, Bill, I wanted to thank you for that Rawhide theme song. And you guys from Europe or wherever don't know what Rawhide is. It was a Western television show years ago with Clint Eastwood as Rowdy Yates, and the theme song was Rawhide, and he changed it to the Supermax, but that was pretty cute. Anyway, look where this trade takes you. Look where it takes you. Mother Nature doesn't forsake you if you do your lessons. And look here, to keep people from trying these reverses, here's what she does. She gives you that nice little head fake, a similar, yeah, it is a perfect 1-2-3 point. Your entry to that trade is about right there anyway. Look at that, coming off of that. You wouldn't have an entry here. You could entry right there, but it would take you back. But your stop, since your stop is going to be above that bar, you never had any danger except maybe, I don't know how many pips that would be. Probably, I would venture about 40. 38 pips twice. So there's your big danger. There's your only danger that you had. And when it drops under that and heads south, look what you got. 210 pips. Now let me tell you this. We haven't seen a loser yet, have we? Not yet. And I don't pick these because they're 100%. I just pick every extreme situation that I see where it's buckled up against a tiger tunnel. And you move this over. See, you drop your vertical line there. You don't like, that's not any good. That's not any good. That's not too good. You come over here and drop it there. Look what you got. You got this. You got this. You got the pretty close to the accelerator. Almost all of your tumblers are telling you to do this thing. And that's why people don't trade them, because they don't know how. But everybody wants to get in as early as possible, and I'll look at you and tell you that I think this is the easiest way to get in these things. That's 211 pips without any danger. If we can't beat those guys in that contest, if I just get up in the morning, I could win them all, but I don't care about winning a contest. But I know you guys are young enough to do it, and look what happens when you do all of that great stuff, and look what happens here. How long a mow is this little sucker? Without any trouble. Look at that. To that right there would be 433 pips, and there's a 2,000 pipper if I ever saw one. And coming off of that, and you'd probably be so excited you'd forget to do it, but if you just took that little one right there with the little sideways limp on it right there, there's 81 pips right behind it. And you got another little one to mess with there. And this one, finally, look how high that is. It's going across there, jump through the Bollinger Bands, and there she offered you an opportunity right there to enter that place. And when that thing turns red, that's just turning gold, and you got all these little scale ends going south without any danger. As you have danger in a mow, but you don't have the danger in these things that you have in a mow. There's 151 pips. So you've got some danger in that mow with all of these things here, but usually these are pretty straight down. Now the non-lag moving average is going to help you in the mow, but see, you've got these turning red things, which are really just pullbacks for our mows, but over here, we go straight through. What goes up really comes down fast and comes down hard. Somebody got any questions for me? I think you can see it. I think you can don't know mo. I like that, Oscar. Okay, Arcadus. I can't pronounce that name. Arcadus or whatever. What is the setting for the lime obos? The lime obos is setting on 5. Let me check that. 5. And this one is set on 13. Now I have one that I named the 5, and I got one that I named the 8. I've got one that's just not named, and it's also the 13. So, but see, this hasn't slowed my computer down at all today. I don't think. See? Oh, now see, look at there, I got out. Now see what it did? It went on back up, because look how strong that signal is. I mean, if you don't jump in long on the, I wish I'd have been here. I could have taken that mow. I wish I had been back there. But the point is that this stuff is just all over there. And I missed that mow simply because we were in training today. I didn't even look for it, but it was right there. I should have entered there. And how many pips would I be up so far? I would already be up another 47 pips twice. Okay, how does spike in the market affect non-lag moving average? Very little. Very little. If we could find one. Well, what you're going to have to do, I don't recall a spike affecting it very much because of the way it's constructed. And Craig Bluto tells me that it's constructed pretty nasty from a coding standpoint. So, but the fact is, now I have a non-lag moving average that has a signal on it. That when it changes color, it will give you a signal, but that thing will drive you nuts. When Craig first fixed it, if you had a real long bar like there when it was changing signal, and there were a lot of ticks in that bar, it binged on every tick. It went bing, 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 bing. Drove you nuts, but it's fixed now. It only bings about 3 times. Although it is a late bing, remember that. When that thing changes, you're going to be, actually you'd be clear down here, but before it ever changed, see, your price would be clear down here. So it's not a good determiner of something that you ought to do. It's pretty late, and of course here it would be perfect right there because it's down here and giving you your bing. Your actual bing wouldn't be till about somewhere right there to touch the other. Now, if you want the one with the binger, I can send you the one with the binger. I can send you both of them because the one with the binger, I promise you, will drive you crazy in periods like, if you got it on 4 pairs and you get a bunch of periods like this, it's going to bing you to death. But anything in a period, any signal is going to drive you to drink in periods like this. See, bing. This is even warning on home base, which is the strongest warning thing that we want. So I haven't figured out a way practically to give you a signal on a primo. I'm sure there are ways that we could do that, touching a tiger tunnel, touching the 3rd tiger tunnel or something of that nature, but I haven't got there yet. It's actually too much fun to sit here and watch them at the chart. Now what you can do is I've got a pound yen here, and let's just say we pull it down for half of the space on the chart, and we go over here and we let's just pick up something over here. Let's pick up the Dow Jones. Okay, this is the, that's the DAX. That's Eusebio's. Let's find the Dow Jones. Okay, this is the the Dow Jones. Now, what we would do is put the second pair over here and pull it down. I'd remove those out. But that way you've got two pair, or the Dow Jones on a 5-minute situation here. Now see, look at the Dow. The Dow's closed for the day, but this is a perfect situation. The thing went up today. The Dow was up 235 points today. But see, there is your trade. You wouldn't have traded off of that red bar. The next bar went back up. Now, you really haven't had a trading signal. You've had setup bars, but no trading bar. You see that? You've got that ledge that's built right there. Right there. You've not had a red bar, two red bars in a row is what it's going to take to get you out of this mess here. So we won't know till tomorrow what's going to happen on that. But if you wanted to put an entry order down here, a limit order down here to sell if it reaches such and such a place, it might be a good investment for somebody, or even on the DAX. Let's look at the old DAXy. Pull those up a bit. See, this is the way you set it up so you have two good visuals of two charts that are quite active. This one's during the day and so forth here. But let's find the old DAX again. And you could do the same thing on the DAX here. See, now there's a spike, but if you notice, it made very little difference in that bar. Now, why, I don't know, but I think it actually compensates for that, because this would be going up. Otherwise, this bar would have turned back to green, but it didn't turn back to green until 2 bars after that big spike there. And I don't know whether that's a real spike or not. Eusebio and I've talked about that on his platform. This spike may not appear. It may only appear on the FX Pro platform. So anyway, that's the way the primos work, and that's the way we attack the counter trading, counter trend market, not scalping. Scalping's a whole other thing. This is counter trend or primo, and we use our own terminology, so we all speak the same language. But look at this, how this was telegraphed here. Look at this point down here. When that DAX changed this morning, right there. I can't even draw. Oh, it doesn't want me to draw on it for some reason. There we go. Look at that. Look where everything was here. Draw your vertical line to force you to look down there and look what the Vanini was doing. It was down at the bottom. This was at the bottom, and you notice the Vanini changed later and started going up and all of this stuff. There was a lot of profit in that DAX this morning. How many points? 714 points, or 71.4 points. I don't know how he figures it out. Yeah, 71.4 points. That's a bunch of points, isn't it, Eusebio? Okay, anyway, this is how you can set your screen up. Let me put that Dow Jones back down there, and I'll squeeze this thing back up. Set my charts right. And it's the same template, only this is practically the same template I sent you last week. The only difference is the makeup. In here I've added 2 oboes and moved the SRO down there. So I will send you the number 5 template. Remember, you guys don't pay attention. I had a half a dozen. You guys couldn't figure out what happened to the non-lag moving average. Well, it was in the instructions I sent out that it doesn't travel well. And some of these, especially this little sucker right here, doesn't travel well at all. The signal bars, it locks up when you try to use it. So you have to reinstall it. You got to play with it to figure out where the numbers are, how to get it in the boxes there. You got to play with these things. There's questions that somebody's not going to be around one of these days to answer, and you've got to learn to manipulate these things. In the signal bars, if you look at the questions it asks you, It asks you, there's your password. Down here it asks you, it tells you can change these time limits here if you want different time frames. I haven't attempted that yet, but it's supposed to be able to be done. Right top of the chart, true or false. If you put false, it's over there, but if you leave it at true, that's where it's got to be in order to get it in one of these things. I learned that another way. So true for show price, show extra details. You can customize this for your own feelings, and you are going to learn to do that by somebody trying to explain it to you over the telephone or in an email post. You can only do basic stuff in writing. I noticed a 30-minute stop in trading today. Is that because of Bernanke's speech? Is that what? I don't know. I didn't even pay any attention to that speech this morning. I was busy doing other things and didn't even think about it. But obviously the market liked what it is, but wait till tomorrow. It may not like it for more than 2 days. I don't have a clue what he said. I'll read about it this evening on the news. Okay, any more questions? No spikes at the DAX chart with ODL. Okay, Terry, okay. Those bucket shops are ECN, it's ABO, yeah. Okay. Well, see that spike on the DAX now, if you think about it, that spike there couldn't do anything but make you money if you were long like everybody was. See, but when it started going down, everybody's sold right there. That took them all out, that's for sure. It took all your shorts out. So the point is, if you're in the right direction, those spikes aren't going to hurt you. They'll help you over time. Could you have a look at Euro Jap Yen, please? And my previous question. What was your previous question, Vincent? Well, boy, that's way down there. You might want to write out your previous question again, please. Would Euro Jap Yen now qualify as a primo? Now. Well, let's change this over to the euro. Let me just get another chart out here. Okay, what is this? This is patience 4. Okay, let's get a Euro Jap Yen in there. Bear with me, guys. Regular MT4 and Pro MT4 with ODL. Is the Pro MT4 better, Terhay? Okay, this is the Euro Jap Yen, so now let's go get a template, the old Max 5. Okay. Not right there, no. Well, yeah. It's not quite gone up far enough. Let's see. Yeah, definitely it will qualify for a primo right now. Put that red line, drop it there, box, red, that. So you've got a primo right there coming off of that. Good Lord, that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only thing, if it's too far out and you've got a real strong trend, like you've got here, the euro's been going up here recently. It's a pretty. It could be a dangerous thing to try to fight that trend. But if you get in on it, see that what you couldn't get in on the trade because you had your down setup bar, but you didn't have your trading bar, entry bar, because this went back up. Now, if you got to have 2 red bars in a row, what it amounts to, you had 2 here, but it wasn't under the non-lag moving average there. Over here, you did have. You can see that. You had an actual entry right there, even though it went back against you, but it went on. It subsequently went on down there, so this would have made you a nice little trade, 33 pips. So there are little things you have to watch for now, and this is something danger is that word I wrote down there. These are dangerous, but I feel that they're less dangerous than some trades that I see people taking all the time. I say, well, why did you enter there? And they look at me and well, I don't know. I don't know. And then they give me some sort of a hum-ha explanation, and but it doesn't make sense to me. See, the moving average here on this one is really strong. This is strong, but as usual, all price changes start with the 1 minute chart. So they have to start somewhere. All reversals start on the 1 minute chart. So, okay, Kenneth, I thought when price ducks under the non-lag was an entry without waiting for the setup in the next entry bar. No, not necessarily. Not if you've got a real strong support thing, although you actually have some. It didn't quite reach the support the next time. So what you have here is a 1, 2, 3 pattern. So you know this would be an entry down here because 1, 2, 3. But here I would be hesitant. Here I would not be because it didn't bounce off here again. So this may be a line of resistance. So I would wait since it bounced off of the blue balance bar. As a matter of fact, is what it did. So let's see if here it might be bouncing off of the Mo line. So it may be using those lines for support. So you have to kind of look at where price is. Well, that's the whole visual thing here. But once you do enough charts and you go back 50 yards. I mean, you could go back and check every one of these things, and none of these would lose you any money. Even if you took one in that strong a trend, it's going to go down, goes back up, goes back down. None of these would lose you any money. You might not make very much money on some of them, but none of them are going to lose you any money if you're sitting there protecting it and watching it. Look at this. My God, look what a strong deal you got there. If you go back through these things and you pick them from the third line, the third Tiger Tunnel out, you don't have much risk on these things. Why wouldn't you risk 50 pips to take a chance on 100? See, even this one. If you entered there when that bar turned red right there, 42 pips, 42 pips risk. And then it goes up here and gives you a second shot at it. So let's look at this second shot, how it turned out. Bar goes under there. You wait till you have a second red bar, which would be right there when that bar turns red. There's your second one. Your danger is 40 pips if you wait for that second red bar there. Discretion is always the better part of valor. Now look at this one. It touched that and came right around. You had all this falderall, but once it went under that line, you had that second red bar. You want to give it get some real good idea that it is going to go down, and it's going to take some red bars to do that. First sign of danger is right there, 37 pips. Now, I don't think I would probably one that close to home base, but because that's not extreme, but it is a bouncing snap back situation. So these are things you look for. And see, you got another one here. When you get an extreme, and I'm only talking about extreme, you got to put that word in your vocabulary. I had people show me homework that was no more extreme than my dog, and he's the most conservative dog in the world, but there's 43 pips just because it's extreme. This is not extreme. It might make you a few pips, but it's just not likely to. See, this is the second bar. I mean, the second Tiger Tunnel. It could make you a few pips, but why risk it? The three bar rule makes it an extreme distance from home base. Keep and bury that word in your brain. Extreme. Now look at this. Look how extreme that is. And you could just leap on that with all four barrels. Look at that right there. First sign of danger, 119 pips. How many pips is that? No, 64 pips, sorry. So if you look at these extreme situations, you scroll through a bunch of charts and just see what Mother Nature tells you. Look at that. That's extreme. That's the third one. Some of them don't look very good, but see, you didn't really get a good handle on an entry there. When you get that, something like that, and sure, you could still enter right there. Wouldn't have mattered much, except you'd have had all of this stuff to fade. But look where the first sign of danger took you, right down there at 54 pips. So what we're looking for, just extreme situations. Look at that. Now this one might cost you some money. Okay, if you'd have taken it when it dropped right through there. What's happening here? The old computer locked up for a second. Okay, hold on. What I mean is that you'll have the setup at the end of the webinar. What are you talking about, Lily? What I mean is that you'll have, just trying to stick to the rules, Lily, pretty close to 21 EMA. Thanks. I thought when price ducks under the non-lag was an entry without waiting for the setup. I don't recall ever saying that. It's a visual thing before I'll enter. You don't really know for sure, but if this bar now let me say this. If this bar goes straight through that, the bar that clears the tunnel, of course this is not an entry because it's not extreme, but if the same bar that touches the Tiger Tunnel and touches the Bollinger Bands is the same bar that goes through the non-lag moving average, it's okay to enter on that bar when it clears the non-lag moving average, because you didn't have anything to obstruct it getting there. It's when you have a situation like it's not the same bar that goes under the non-lag moving average. See, these two spikes didn't have hardly one thing to do with that thing. But this is not a tradable situation. But if this were the third or fourth bar out there, I would enter it as soon as that crossed there, because that's the same bar. That shows you the strength of that bar. Okay, same thing here. See, it's not the same bar that goes through there, so I want to see some evidence that when this blue bar goes above that blue bar, then that's cleared the latest sign of resistance there. So that's where you would do it. And you're going to have to just use common sense on these trades, and that's what the demo accounts are for, is to try a few of these things. Take every one of them. Why is my computer doing this? Woohoo. What? Blue bands on Benini gone forever. I took them off, yeah. For this, when I put the, you can leave them on if you want to. When I put this down there, I just didn't need the clutter, because the blue bands don't really. Here, if you're using Bollinger Bands up here, you don't really need the blue bands down here. I don't know why this thing is doing that to me. It may be the slow movement of the prices at this time of day. Like that, it's 5:20. Okay, thanks for the info. I got Pizza Hut on speed dial. What's that? Bad pre-angle. Bad pre-angle. I don't use Vanini. Legally, I don't know why you don't use Vanini, but you don't have to broadcast it. If you don't like it, you don't have to tell everybody else, because I like it. So, I like the Vanini. And I also like the TDI. But I just like the Vanini better, because the green line is a little more consistently. It's not as jagged as the TDI green line. Hold on a second. Okay. Blue bands on Benini gone. Okay. Now it came back. Whatever happened there? There it did. It just all of a sudden came back. I guess the computer was just locked up. But see, you go all the way through a pair. Don't just take my word for all this stuff. Go back and check which bar you need to enter on. It's there. See that this is not far enough away, although it is pretty far away. It's almost to the third bar. So you see it there. This is not the same bar that crossed the thing, but it was one there. If you wait for that, you miss it. So if you miss that one, you just miss it. But it's the blue bar we're looking for. When it goes above the previous bar, then that would be your entry point right there. Well, I don't know why that's doing that. I guess I'm about to talk myself out. I like my slow stow RSI. Well, is it slow, or is this the slow stow SRI, or is there something else you're using? Homework. You guys won't do it, but I'm going to ask you to. I want you to pick out a couple of primos. But I want you to scroll through an entire pair. My God, it can't take you. Let's go to the end of this. This on my computer goes back to November. If you scroll all the way through and check every primo situation that was extreme, you're going to learn a lot. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hello? Hello?
Again, this is Deborah here.
Hi, Deb. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm in the middle of a training session. Deb, listen,
Oh, I'm sorry.
so go through, pick a pair, pick your best pair. The yen pairs are by far the best because of the volatility. But if you like a slow pair, in other words, I haven't shown you this on the Euro GBP. I'll show you something on the Euro GBP that you will be astounded to see. But you're not going to see it unless you go put this on the GBP, Euro GBP, and look for those periods of consolidation and to what the Tiger tunnels do on the Euro GBP. It will just amaze you. You will be blinded by the fact that you hadn't ever seen it before. But I can't get you to do that. You guys are too busy, and I know you're busy. But that's why I'm giving you this. You got the videos. You're going to watch them more than once. And the primo, the next session is going to be part primo and a couple other things. Hang on. Dadgum. Get quiet coughing. Okay, now this is the Euro GBP. Now, I will change the rule slightly for the Euro GBP, okay? You don't have to go 3. All you have to do is go 2 plus. Anything that hangs through the 2, like this, it's 2 Bollinger, it's 2 bands. And you see, even though this one goes sideways a long time, your entry would still be down here, but you really wouldn't have had a good entry because of that. And if you go down and you find a real good period of consolidation, look at this, bingity, bingity. We've only found 2. Whoops, there's another one. There's one right there, took you right down to the next band, and that was on a 3. Now that one didn't make you any money because it was coming off of a Mo, and probably right after a Mo would not be the place to attempt a primo up here. Just would not, because this is going to do this, then it's going to go on up. Well, now there's a perfect one. But you'll see, since this is the least volatile pair of all of them, look what happens when price gets way out there. My God, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 5. That's as far out as it even goes. But look what happens when it gets that far out. And then it does it again. Look what happened there. And look what happens up here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bands. Takes you right down to there. So you're going to have to do some of this work for yourself, because I can't sit there at the computer with you and say this is a good one or a bad one or whatever. You're going to have to watch and see what entries are going to make you money. And you see, your entry would be right there on that red bar. Then it's going to go back up there. I don't know how many pips, how much drawdown you would have here, but you're still under your stop. but there's 18 pips, which are almost double pips though, and it goes back down, and eventually it makes you a little bit of money. 12 pips times 2 is 24 pips. You won't make as many pips on this one as you will the others, but it actually is the least volatile of all the pairs. And so when you get something like that, it'll make you a few pippies with not much risk. And that's what we're looking for, is risk-free trading. Okay. So I want you to do a scroll, and I want you to go through and mark them for yourself. And don't worry about them losing, because, my God, you don't lose anything but the time it takes to mark a few. And you'll see what happens when they go against you. You'll see a whole lot. And take the yen pairs and the pound dollar. The euro dollar is good also. Almost any pair will do this, but you don't have time to monitor. But at the most, 2 pairs if you're going to have any trading things going on for you. Let's see what this one up here has done. See, look at that. It's gone back up, and it almost made another dent. And look at that piece of support right here that I was telling you about. This often happens. Now that's got support there. So I would have taken the Mo, but seeing this here, I would have XXX right there, even though it looks like it may go again. But I will bet a lot of money that this is going to go back down here and go probably down to this, or one of the 3 lines there if it continues to go up. But it looks like it's exhausted. See, this is an exhaustion place. This 5th Tiger Tunnel is for, or 4th, is for exhausted prices. And if it gets to the 5th one, that's more exhaustion. So that makes these primos even better. So you guys monitor this tonight. Now look, see what it did? It just made a liar out of me. I said I'd bet, but it's not through yet. And it still hadn't cleared that support, or that resistance line there. And it's got a hard time doing it, as you can see. Anyway, monitor that for tonight. Next training is Saturday at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. I want you to do primos between now and then. I want you to do mark at least 50 of them on a chart. Then you're going to be as smart as I am. You'll know as much about them as I do, because what we're relying on is that when that red line, the non-lag moving average, stays the same color as the trend, boy, you've got a lot going for you. And it may test you a little bit, may go across it a bit and go back. But you have to learn that for yourself to get confidence of yourself. You cannot trust anything I tell you except it will be the truth, because until you've experienced it for yourself, it can't be the truth. Everything believed is a lie. What you experience is the truth. That's an old Est saying, in case you guys don't know what Est is. Okay, that's it for now. I'll see you Saturday, and I want you to do your homework, and I want you to submit 2 charts, a long primo and a short primo. And I don't want you to belabor it, but if there are scale ends or anything like that that'll do something, I want you to just mark them, and so I realize that you remember what I told you. The homework's going to be pretty simple this time. And I don't want it Saturday at noon. I want it Friday by noon, so I can take some time off. Time we get it graded, then I'd like to have a little time to reflect on the homework before the next time. So get it in by Friday at noon, 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. Friday at noon, 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. I'm repeating that so it'll be on this tape. Okay, guys, listen, I've really enjoyed it. I'm sorry my allergies get me. But anyway, if you have any questions, be sure to send them, and Eusebio and I, or Wayne, or Chris, or Craig will be glad to answer them for you.